Imagine waking up to a world where everyone like you is gone. No familiar voices, no familiar faces, only strangers. That may have happened to the last Neanderthal. For hundreds of thousands of years, Neanderthals lived across Europe and Western Asia. They survived brutal winters. They hunted enormous animals. They raised families. They buried their dead. They made tools from carefully shaped stone. They were not primitive monsters. They were human. Not modern humans, but another kind of human. Neanderthals first appeared roughly 400,000 years ago. They evolved from earlier human ancestors who had left Africa long before our own species did. Their bodies became powerful. Their bones grew thick. Their muscles became incredibly strong. Their noses were large, possibly helping warm freezing air before it reached their lungs. Everything about them reflected life in a harsh Ice Age world. Then, around 300,000 years ago, another human appeared. Homo sapiens, our species. For thousands of years, both humans shared the same planet. Eventually, they even shared the same landscapes. Imagine seeing another human species for the first time. They looked similar, but not identical. Would you recognize them as people, or as something else? Scientists believe Neanderthals and modern humans met many times. Sometimes they competed. Sometimes they traded. Sometimes they had children together. In fact, if your ancestors came from Europe or Asia, you probably carry between 1 and 2% Neanderthal DNA today. That means Neanderthals never completely disappeared. A tiny part of them survives inside millions of people, but their own population slowly declined. Why? For over a century, scientists argued fiercely about the answer. Some believed modern humans simply outcompete them. We may have built larger social networks. We may have shared knowledge faster. Small advantages repeated over thousands of years can change history. Others point to climate. The Ice Age climate changed dramatically several times. Forests replaced open grasslands. Animals migrated. Food became less predictable. Small populations struggled to survive. Disease may also have played a role. When isolated populations encounter new diseases, the consequences can be devastating. We know this happened many times throughout human history. Could it have happened then? Perhaps. Another possibility is surprisingly peaceful. Neanderthals may not have vanished because they all died. Some simply joined us. Over thousands of years, mixed families became more common. Generation after generation, distinct Neanderthal communities slowly blended into larger Homo sapiens populations. Instead of disappearing overnight, they were gradually absorbed. The truth is probably not one simple answer. Competition, climate, disease, interbreeding, all may have contributed. Then came the final generations. Picture one small group living in southern Europe around 40,000 years ago. The world was changing. Game animals were becoming harder to find. Modern humans were appearing more often. Each year, there were fewer Neanderthal children, fewer families, fewer familiar faces. Did they realize what was happening? Nobody knows. Perhaps they believed more groups still lived beyond the next mountain. Perhaps they expected relatives to return with spring. Perhaps they never imagined they were witnessing the end of their own kind. One day, somewhere, one Neanderthal looked around. Without knowing it, they belonged to the last generation. The final chapter of a human story that had lasted hundreds of thousands of years. Yet their disappearance was not complete. When scientists first recovered Neanderthal DNA in the 21st century, everything changed. Ancient bones revealed a surprising truth. Neanderthals were not completely separate from us. They were part of our family tree. Every discovery continues to reshape their story. Archaeologists have uncovered ornaments, pigments, sophisticated hunting tools, evidence that they cared for injured members of their communities. These discoveries challenge old stereotypes. Neanderthals were intelligent, adaptable, social, curious. In many ways, they were remarkably human. Perhaps that is the saddest part of the story. The last Neanderthal probably never knew they would become the last. History rarely announces its endings. Sometimes the final page is written quietly, without celebration, without witnesses, without anyone realizing an entire world has just disappeared. The next time you look into a mirror, remember this. A small part of the face looking back may have first belonged to another human species. Their world ended, but they never completely left ours. Every fossil tells another part of their story. Every discovery changes what we thought we knew. Science keeps rewriting the past, piece by piece, bone by bone, gene by gene, generation by generation, until the picture becomes clearer, but never completely finished. There are still questions we cannot answer. That is what makes archaeology extraordinary. Every shovel of earth could rewrite history. Somewhere, another discovery is still waiting, hidden beneath stone and time, waiting to tell the next chapter of the Neanderthal story. The story of the Neanderthals is not just about extinction. It is about survival. It is about adaptation. It is about family. And ultimately, it is about us. Every person with Neanderthal DNA carries a tiny piece of that ancient history. Invisible, ancient, still alive today. Science gave the Neanderthals a second voice, not through myths, but through evidence. Every fossil, every tool, every fragment of DNA. Together, they tell a story that waited 40,000 years to be heard. The last Neanderthal disappeared, but the Neanderthals did not. Their story continues inside ours. The end of one species became part of another. That may be the most remarkable survival story in human history. The last Neanderthal is gone, but a part of them is looking through your eyes right now. History did not erase them. It simply turned the page.